Welcome to the Monday Nudge. Now, here's a different kind of a Monday Nudge in that over the weekend, I turned a new personal decade and had a moment, well, a whole weekend actually, to think about where we've traveled from, what we've actually done over the last 10 years and the 10 years before that. And I think there's a certain realization that happens when you turn 40, 50, or in my 60 in my case. And I think what you do is start to think about a little bit of mortality, where you are in your life, but also about what the opportunities are from here on. Now, with luck, what we do is we take all the learnings of the things that we probably didn't do quite so well, and we start asking the big questions. Are we where we want to be in life? Are we doing what we want to do? Are we with the people we want to be with? Do we need to release some people from our life in order to have a better quality of life? Now, I think that we're in a phenomenal time period in that the digital age is maturing and maturing. And as many negatives as that has, i.e., unfortunately portraying to the world all these wonderful lives which can make people feel that they're not achieving, that everyone else is doing well, but they are not. It's a tough one, isn't it? So I think that if you stop for a moment and calibrate and think, well, okay, actually, my life isn't too bad. Health, home life, friends, business, and what you're doing. If, as you run through all of those things, you think to yourself, well, actually, this is not how I want it. I should be further down the line. I should be this. I should be that. Then that kind of tells you that you're shoulding all over yourself. So it's time to make some quantum decisions and say, right, instead of where I should be, I'm going to be. I'm going to be the person that I want to be. So the crux really of what I'm sharing with you today is that if you are not exactly where you want to be in your life, change it. Change it by deciding to change it, because it's the mind behind success. Success is actually not a financial thing. I mean, it has obviously an impact, or an environment thing. If you want to have a different environment, if you want to be in a different financial place, then you make the decision to change that. And once you make the decision sounds something like this, right? I'm not doing X, I'm not doing Y, and I'm not doing Z, but what I am going to do is I'm going to make the incremental changes to become what I want to become. So in those terms, it's about surrounding yourself with the right people, because if you've got negativity in your life, you need to release them back into the wild and start attracting to you people that think in a different way, think in a way that you want to think. When you wake up in the morning, is you need to ask a question of yourself. What will make today fantastic? What if I achieve a certain thing will make this an excellent day? If you start with that notion and say, no, what do I want to do? Instead of waking up with that list, right, I've got to do X and I've got to do Y and I've got to do Z for other people, yeah, then you're always on the effect end of life. Whereas if you wake up and say, no, what I want to do for me, and then you do that thing first. So one of the big things I think that makes a huge difference to people is wake up 1 hour earlier than you would normally do. 1 hour earlier. Now, to begin with, it'll be a bit tough because you're waking up that hour earlier. Now, you can offset that by endeavoring to go to bed 1 hour earlier in order to wake up 1 hour earlier. So they're little things that make, in the end, a quantum difference. It's called the compound difference. So if you want to compound the success that you're getting, then you need to do incremental small things that add up over a period of time into something substantial, where you become so much more than you've become until today. So I know this is somewhat of an esoteric share. However, I sincerely believe, from some of the conversations I've had with different people over the last, I don't know, 6, 7 months, that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, but have the same narrative, where they're saying, John, I'm not where I should be in my life. I should be so much more successful. And what they're referring to is their business life. But I think it's a slightly bigger question. It's about the work-life balance. It's about where we feel strong, where we feel that we're on purpose. And the only way that you're going to get on purpose is to know what you want. So you start with that character in the mirror and asking the character in the mirror the big questions. Are you happy with yourself? If you're not, what would have to happen in order for you to be happy? Are you as successful as you should be by now? If the answer is no, okay, so what have I got to do in order to achieve the success that I think I should be at by now? And then it's about a temporal mindset. Okay, if I was talking to myself from 10 years ago, what would I tell them to have done in order for me to be in a different place today? Not from a negative standpoint, but from a positive standpoint, where you say, well, okay, if I had done X, that would have resulted in a stronger outcome. If I'd have actually turned right or made the decision to stop doing and instead start doing, then I would be in a different place today. So as you start to make that list, if you like, of all the things that if you had done would have resulted in you being in a stronger place today, then you've got a list of things to start implementing today in order to be successful tomorrow. That's where success truly begins. And if you haven't got somebody in your life that is a bouncing board, by which I mean somebody to bounce ideas off, to bounce your thoughts off, get that person. I'm sure that you know of at least one person. They might be a friend, they might be a business acquaintance, they may be an uncle, an auntie, they may be a nephew, come to that, where you can go to them and say, look, I'd like to have someone to bounce off of in order to grow and flourish. And I think you would be a great person. Would that be something you could do with me? I'd really appreciate that. They will say yes, because you haven't thought about them as a person in order to mentor with you in some way without thinking that they would be the type of person that would say yes. So start that. There are a world of opportunities. It has never been easier to become a financial success than it is in 2023. There are so many opportunities out there. All you have to do is decide it's time to change the path, to be 2 degrees to the left, 5 degrees to the right. Or it might be that you want to do a whole 90-degree shift and go in a completely different direction. But it really does start with you making the decision that you're going to be what you've always wanted to be, because it's clarity of purpose. Once you've got clarity of what it is that you really want, everything changes. So that's it from me. That's long enough on the Monday Nudge. I do hope that this resonates with at least someone out there, that it makes the difference. That's all the difference. So with that, have a splendid week, and I'll talk to you soon.